Happy morning
Is it morning?
or evening
Could be nighttime.
or
Could be-
afternoon.
Could be like sort of like, the golden hour. Who knows?
I think it's 7:45 in the morning and I'm not sleepy because we just had a good weekend.
That's right.
Carlos Lopez just left.
He did?
He made his way back to sunny California. Had a great weekend with him. That was awesome. But we're here not to talk about that. We're here to talk about cabinets.
Like, in your kitchen.
Or your dressers.
It's very important.
No. But guitar cabinets.
Guitar cabinets.
Because it's shocking how much of a difference they make.
They make a lot of difference.
From the wood to the speakers, obviously. But we're really just focusing on the cabinets and open back to close back right now. It's a big, big thing. I didn't realize that until way later in my life.
I think that's probably true for me. It's one of those things that, it was never really an issue because I was always just buying combo amps, that were accessible and relatively, cheap. So yeah, they were all open back for the most part. You know what I mean? Mostly, usually Fender stuff like a Hot Rod DeVille or.
I saw those strange guys that had the cool setups with like the Fender Bassmans and the piggybacks and stuff.
Yeah.
I was like, whoa, those are cool. And then I would look around the back and like, the closed backs, what's that?
I can't see the speakers. It's so weird.
I started to learn things. And then Marshalls.
Marshalls typically closed back.
Most of these sort of hard pushing things are closed back. And I didn't realize how much that was going to affect the sound until I really dug into it. And unfortunately, I discovered Two Rocks.
It changed your life.
But they're open back.
It's got
that nice little sort of round opening thing. It's like nice and pretty.
The nice, good old Magnatone Super 59 M80s. Marshall-y, but we both love them more than Marshalls. And surprise, surprise, open back.
So it turns out like Jonathan and I really like open backs, and I think
we're very open.
No,
in everything, relationships, whatever. No,
I mean exactly. I did that with Carlos when he was here too, and I told my wife that they were swingers, and she's like, just to make her nervous a little bit. I like to do that. I do that all the time with her and embarrass her friends.
Probably not true. I mean, we don't really know.
I didn't really ask. Right. I don't care.
But it's probably false.
The good thing is, side note, before I'm getting distracted really quickly, I'm sorry, but before we continue, he's also a movie junkie and nerd, so we're having so much fun, like nerding out on movies, and I'm going deep into that stuff. He likes some sci-fi and some weird stuff too, so all these cool cats are kind of geeks.
The common thread.
Anyway, I think what we found out was that we definitely like open backs, but I think a lot of that might be from our growing up with these Fender combos.
I'm sure that's part of it, right?
That's the sound I like.
It's the sound I like, but I think it also, I mean, obviously, it is a little bit dictated by the stuff you play, right? Like, I don't play a lot of, like, chuggy stuff where I need it to be, like, hammering you in the face. Do you know what I mean? And I like that kind of airy, big, open sound because I play a lot of chords that aren't power chords, And
the determining factor a lot of times if I like an amp or don't is like if it has reverb.
Right.
Too, like it's a weird thing. Like I just want it, unless I have a great grand room to play in, it's so hard for me to enjoy it without reverb, without pedals plugged into it. I just like a little taste, just a little bit of reverb. But
you do, yeah. You don't, it's funny because you do love that, but you don't. It's not like any of your stuff swims in reverb or anything crazy.
Yeah, every once in a while I'll do that just for an effect.
Just for fun, yeah.
Like with the baritones I'm playing,
right.
like I do like to add like more reverb than normal because I think it's just a neat, different way to play a baritone.
Right.
But I find there's a openness and a warmth and the non-direct attack that I just like better in the open back. Almost more. This is weird. This is sort of counterintuitive. I feel like there's more bass. That's not right. It's not right. But my mind, it just.
I mean, is it maybe though that the bass is like shifted a bit? Do you know what I mean? Like, because with the closed back, it's so like in your face, thumpy kind of bass thing.
Yes.
And like you said, there's a warmth to having an open back that's different. It's not.
I think as an experiment at home, what you should do is like pop the back off your closed back, if you can, and try it. Like so I've done that with some of the things when I'm playing like if I'm playing the Lone Star. Like I have to experiment. I think I have it in closed back now, and it sounds really good, but I have not done it in an open back yet.
There you go.
I'm gonna try that later.
And you can get like cabinets that you could take, you can make them open back or closed back by putting little ports or little.
Or in engineering, we can make a machine that rolls them out like a metal garage door.
That was Derek's idea.
I know. Don't steal it.
You can steal it.
No, I mean,
I feel like it would be
It's
cost prohibitive.
It's very expensive.
Or you'd hit a button, or you could just scroll through the menu on your Helix. And you're like, oh, up and back.
Yeah,
oh,
or I was
back.
at my friend Peter's house, and he has, I think, is Axe Effects one of them, like the really fancy one?
Yeah.
He has one. I think he has one of those. I think that's what he has. And it was,
Fractal.
Maybe that's what it was. Yeah. It was
Fractal makes Axe Effects.
okay, I don't remember.
They're on 3 now.
It was all sorts of computer stuff. I was just confused. But yeah, that. Oh, speaking of garage door type things, I was scrolling through, like, on my feed, on my Facebook feed, comes up like these like windows that are like garage doors, like they fold up. And I'm like, man, I want to get one of those. And I click on it to see how much they cost, but then you gotta contact somebody. I'm like, I don't want to. Just tell me how much they cost.
If they don't just tell you, it's usually, yeah. It's good.
I did that with as a gas iron or wood burning stove. I really liked once. It looked like a UFO sort of, and it goes like straight up to the ceiling. I was like, I'm gonna get one of these. So I was like, this is awesome. I designed my house around this before I had kids, and then I found out, like, later, after contacting like 20 people, it's $25,000
Seems right.
for a stove, or a child burning device is what you should call it. But I didn't. Needless to say, I didn't get that.
When I as a child, my dad, it's very rural engineering type. We had a wood burning stove in our basement, and it was hooked into like the central heating ducts.
So it connected the pipe so that it would warm everything.
So it warmed our whole house, but it was wood. Like, so I had to carry these tiny little perilous steps to carry wood down, and I backed into that thing one time with my arm when I was probably like, I don't know, 10 years old. And I didn't feel anything. I just heard the kind of like bacon cooking. I was like, I still have a little scar right there. But so yes, not child friendly.
Yellowstone branded.
That's right. Just, you know.
And your father was involved in that as well. That's cool.
There you go. But the cab thing, right? So like I have 2 notes audio. Like I have a Cab M and I have a Capture X, and both of them are like, you know, cab simulation things, right? So I can plug in back of my amp into those, and then like into my interface essentially, right?
Right.
And then on my iPad, it shows me the cabinet, the virtual cabinet. It is really interesting.
Do you go to the open backs on that even more?
I do tend to, but it's neat to like be able to scroll and see the visual representation and move the microphones and see like, oh, I mean, because like my Supro Comet has a really dark speaker in it. It's open back. It's a 10-inch speaker. It has a very particular sound, but recording, man, it's easy to unplug, and so I plug it into that little Cap Direct all the time. I can make it sound like almost any amp just by changing the cab to the speakers. Awesome. You know what I mean? Like it makes such a difference. Your speaker choice and your open back or closed back and 212s or
what the cab
412s or 112. Exactly.
You know, if we're looking at birch, plywood,
that's why I like the 59 Basement reissue so much. That pine, and it's like the little what is the finger jointed pine cabinet is so much more resonant than like a deluxe.
Or the Fender cabinet. Custom Shop Tweed amps, like that little deluxe is a monster. It's not cheap, it's expensive, but it's not a very easy beast to wield.
Right.
It's definitely sort of unwieldy in some ways, but it's an awesome amplifier.
What I've heard people say, like, you know, in the studio, sometimes the reason the blackface Fenders are so nice is because you don't get much of the cabinet sound because they're, you know, they're not solid wood. It's not super resonant, but you do on the Tweeds, which
well, it changes everything.
It does.
But I think it is funny, like how I tend to always go to open backs.
Open backs.
But I'm gonna stake that on. It's probably just because it's what I grew up playing except for my Gorilla amp that I started with and my Walmart speakers that were my parents' stereo. They were closed back.
Closed back.
They also blew up. They can't handle really, really loud guitar and bass, apparently.
You know, and I imagine if we were like hard rock metal guys, we'd say the opposite thing. All closed back, man. All closed back for me.
Well, and I think it'd be different because when I was playing Peters, he had the Jubilee, like a vintage one with the 412s closed back, but then he put like the Mooger Fugger on it, so like there was some delay.
Oh yeah.
And it was amazing. Yeah. And it was so much fun. Then he had a Ironman attenuator too. I mean, this rig was insane. It's like, okay, I could live with this.
What about your orange? Your orange open back or closed back?
That's an open back.
Actually?
I think. Yeah, I think.
There you go.
Yeah, definitely open back. But it's a combo.
You got the combo version.
Because I sort of always was a combo guy. Like
Right.
it just the whole idea of like head cabinet made no sense to me as a young person. And even in my touring days in New York, it was just, it's just the amp I had. I didn't think about it. I had a red knob Fender Twin.
Most of my life was a combo guy, but I did go through a thing where I had the piggyback heads, but I never used them with the closed back Fender cab. It was always, I got a 112 open back cab for playing on Broadway. And then I had one Tremolux converted to a 112 combo open back. So, I mean, I love those heads. I love the way the Basement heads sound, but I still like them in the open back.
I need to get like an Echo Plex on that Basement over there.
God,
with the closed back. That'd be the jam. I got some old 60s.
You got your little like Bell Epoch thing over there. You don't even know what pedals you have. It's like, just put that in there.
I don't know what he's talking about. I could just do that, couldn't I?
Or you could go buy Echoplex. Whatever you want to do.
I need help. We did just get a KTR, so that's pretty exciting.
That's true.
Hanging on that for a little bit. I think that's going to be like the ultimate.
In the vault.
It's in the vault. It's going to join the.
We have a little vault for
we do.
things.
Well, it's like a thing. Like we're kind of this weird collective here. Like if you're part of the casino family, like the really inbred part of us that actually work here, like we have like some stuff that. I mean, like, oh yeah, you want to take that? Cool. Like, how many things have you taken? It's just like cool. That's what they're for. We buy certain things, and like I'm buying one of those crazy baritones. They're expensive, but like if anybody needs one for recording, use it. That's what they're for, and they're awesome, and it's pink. But no, and pedals. I mean, these pedals just like I have it on this cool, awesome pedal board. People just like pop them off.
They come back. It's like a library. I'm totally raiding your little pedals to make a secondary board to fly to Alaska. By the way.
Yeah, definitely. And you want to take one of the Venteras.
And I'm going to take a Ventera. Yeah.
That's the idea.
Yeah, that's all right.
So we've done videos like years ago, like perks of working in a guitar shop. That's one of them. But they're instruments. We have like certain stockpiles of stuff that we have are used pieces and things that we play with and use, and they should be used.
It's true.
And like,
which is kind of nice.
They don't pay us here, so
it's true.
We get to borrow guitars.
Paid in guitar currency.
Paid in kind. I don't know what that means exactly.
No, I don't know.
It's something.
It's better than exposure. Exposure bucks.
I was just like the trouble you get in for exposure, like
you can
indecent exposure. You can. No, that's never happened to any of us here.
You could die. You could die of exposure.
Oh yeah. Great movie. Side note, speaking of that, Stalingrad. I think it's from the 80s or maybe the 90s, or I don't know. It's a German film about the Battle of Stalingrad. And it's one of the most realistic and brutal war films maybe out there, because it's, showing the battle of the Germans and the Russians.
Yeah.
Like how your main enemy is, I think, exposure. When you're fighting in a destroyed city in the middle of winter in like the tundra, it feels like.
It's pretty much what got him, right? Like,
yeah, well, just like both sides. Like
both sides.
You're sitting in these houses just trying to stay warm. It's a brutal movie.
Stay warm and keep your feet dry.
A great climax to it. And I need to watch it again. It's not one you can sit down and watch with the kids.
No.
We started watching.
I have to watch that one.
But we were watching the Halo show the other day with the.
Was it good?
It was okay.
Okay.
But we were sitting down there. We got like 5 minutes in. We're like, man, I was like, Taylor, maybe you should check like the parental advisories on this before we go any further. I feel like it's getting ready to ramp up in just any second. Like, because it's just kids playing and stuff. Right. This is too sweet. Something's going to go wrong.
Really poorly wrong.
And like we stopped it, and then we looked at the advice. She's like, yeah, we shouldn't watch it. And we watched it the next night. Like kids' arms and legs just getting blown off. Purple dust turned into from like the Covenant's laser flyer.
Your kids would have been fine.
I think they probably would have been fine, but it was just it's like all of them just massacred.
It's weird. My kids didn't sleep this week at all. I don't know why.
I mean, I watched that stuff as a kid. I watched like Aliens and Alien, but
all that. I watched all
Nightmare
that. Yeah.
on Elm Street. Like it was. My sister was having like a slumber party, I think, and I snuck in the room. She was older, and they were watching Nightmare on Elm Street. That fracked me up for weeks. I think still I'm messed up a little bit.
Yeah.
From that. It's not scary now when you watch it, I'm sure.
But as a kid, you're like, oh my God.
This guy with creepy claws.
Don't sleep. Do not sleep.
Johnny Depp, don't. And like Aliens, I remember I kept looking under my bed for like Aliens, like the little things come grab me. And
do you remember the little like Freddy Krueger, the NES game? Where you had to like stay awake and all that stuff?
No.
Yeah, there was I don't remember what system, but it was an early one, obviously, because I was a kid. But yeah, we had a Friday the 13th video game.
I know. I played that in the arcades. I remember when you played as Jason.
Ooh.
Which is
I mean, not
cool.
Friday 13th. I meant Nightmare on Elm Street. I said the wrong thing. I didn't know there was a.
There's a new one out on consoles too, where you play as some of the iconic murderers from horror games, like Michael Myers and stuff, and your job is to kill campers, I think, which is awesome. One of my favorite horror games ever was for one of the Nintendos, maybe the GameCube, Eternal Darkness.
Okay.
It was wonderful. It had this little hack in it, like you'd be playing it, and like the volume of your TV would start turning down. It would switch to different inputs, but that was part of the game to make you think it was glitching, and there was like a ghost or something.
Yeah.
So you'd be playing it, it was like, and you grab your controller and be like, why is the volume? And then it would do that within the game sometimes just to get you.
Okay, that's pretty freaky.
It was really cool.
That's pretty good.
I think it was a really good plot too. That has a lot to do with speaker cabinets. I can't even tie that.
These things that happen to us as children mold you into whether you like closed or open back.
That was good. That
right
was
there.
Good. Fist pounds.
Your experiences.
That was really good. That was a great BS connection.
Are you open? Are you closed?
Yum. The open relationship comes back together. Oh, I remember those days.
Open to what the universe is saying? Are you closed off and hard-hearted?
I've learned that I really do like almost all things amplification-wise now.
I mean, yeah.
I used to be so much more like closed-minded. Now I really do like almost everything, so it's a joy.
I just remember having the like revelation of everything works differently, and they had a place, right? And like, maybe you thought you didn't like Vox, but Vox does this thing, and if you find that thing and you realize how you set it up, then it is amazing. And the same thing for Marshall, and the same thing for Fender, and I've realized in some spots where I was trying to make Fender amps do things they don't really do,
because when you crank a Fender amp, it breaks up, but that's not a breakup you might like.
It's not always super pleasant.
At the end of the day, I think our final note is everything is awesome. Everything is cool.
Just like, is that the Lego movie?
When you're part of a team. Everything is awesome. Thank you for watching. Awesome. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for clicking like and being nice on the internet. We try to stay nice most of the time and happy. It's a nice place to live. The internet's just a place of happiness and kindness.
Always.
Very as kind. It should be. It could be if we make it that way.
It's like here's society, and then the kindness on the internet is magnified. It's like utopian.
It's going to be that way. We're one step at a time. You shut your face. I have faith still to this day.
Childlike faith.
Anything else you want to say, Trey?
I think that's it.
If you get that reference, I'm pulling them out of the swamp right now.
Dead horse.
Ouch. Beating a dead horse. Go home. See you later. Bye.